Jordan Bardella, March 31, 2025, transformed into the most complex day of his life. On one side, his debt of gratitude to the woman who elevated him to the political summit. On the other, the chance to become the youngest leader in France. Here is the most tumultuous political drama of modern France. One man, two paths, and an impossible choice. The courtroom is silent. Marine Le Pen, one of France's most powerful political figures, awaits her verdict. At her side, 29-year-old Jordan Bardella, his face impassive but his gaze intense. The sentence falls like a guillotine. 5 years of ineligibility for public office, effective immediately. Le Pen's presidential career has just collapsed. What no one sees is the storm of emotions raging within him. To understand this moment, we must go back 10 years. A young man from the tough neighborhoods of Seine-Saint-Denis joins the National Front. The son of Italian immigrants, he possesses a rare talent. He speaks the language of youth, but defends traditional ideas. Marine Le Pen notices him immediately. In just a few years, his trajectory is meteoric. At 23, he becomes the lead candidate for the European election. At 26, president of the party. A record in French political history. Marine Le Pen's genius was understanding that she needed a new face for her party. Someone without the historical baggage of the Le Pen name. Someone who could reach a younger electorate. And Bardella excels in this role. With over 2 million TikTok followers, he transforms the party's image. Impeccable suits, charming smile, he embodies the new French right. Modern in appearance, traditional in values. But everything changes on March 31, 2020. Polls already place him as the favorite for 2027. What few people know is that after the verdict, a secret meeting takes place between the two party figures. Closed doors, no witnesses. What was said in that room remains a mystery. Some speak of a passing of the torch, others of a tense confrontation. The truth? Only Le Pen and Bardella know. 2 days later, Bardella makes a declaration that shakes France. If Marine Le Pen cannot run in 2027, I will be a candidate with her support. The media era. Is this a political coup? A planned succession? The following weeks reveal a fascinating political ballet. In public, Bardella expresses unwavering support for Le Pen. He launches a petition that gathers over 300,000 signatures in a few days. He organizes support rallies, the perfect loyal heir. But behind the scenes, his advisors are already preparing his presidential campaign. Discreet meetings with financiers, confidential polls testing his popularity against other potential candidates. An anonymous source within the party says, Bardella is walking a very fine line. If he seems too eager to replace Le Pen, he risks appearing opportunistic. If he seems too reluctant, he could lose his chance. The party subtly divides. On one side, Le Pen loyalists for whom Bardella remains a novice. On the other, a new generation that sees him as the future. In May 2025, a television interview reveals the first public tensions. Asked about Bardella's presidential qualities, Le Pen hesitates. Jordan has immense qualities, but experience cannot be acquired in a day. Bardella's response the next day on TikTok is measured but firm. I learn every day, and I will be ready when France needs me. Polls show that 67% of National Rally voters would accept Bardella as a candidate if Le Pen could not run. This figure rises to 78% among those under Summer 2025 marks a turning point. Bardella undertakes an international tour that strangely resembles that of a presidential candidate. Israel, United States, Russia. He meets leaders, poses as a statesman. The media notes that he travels without Le Pen's explicit authorization. Upon his return, a new dynamic settles in. Bardella begins to take slightly different positions from Le Pen on certain subjects. On the economy, he shows himself to be more liberal. On Europe, less radical. A political scientist observes, it's like a progressive emancipation. He remains within the party's ideological framework, but adds his own color to it. In September 2025, Le Pen gives an interview where she claims, that her appeal has a good chance of succeeding. I remain the natural candidate. Bardella, questioned about this statement, smiles. Of course, no one can replace Marine, but our movement must be ready for any eventuality. It is in this context that a rumor begins to circulate. Le Pen and Bardella are said to have reached a secret agreement. She cedes her place for 2027, on condition that he guarantees her a position as Prime Minister in case of victory. Both deny it, but the idea gains traction. In December 2025, the axe falls. The appeals court confirms Le Pen's ineligibility. Her presidential career is officially over. At a joint press conference, visibly moved, Le Pen officially designates Bardella as her successor. The flame changes hands, but the fight continues. Bardella, in a perfectly calibrated speech, pays tribute to his mentor while asserting his own vision. I will honor Marine's legacy, but with my generation, we will write our own history. The cameras capture a moment when, thinking they are no longer being filmed, the two exchange an intense look. Friendship? Rivalry? Complicity? No one really knows. What is certain is that Jordan Bardella, the heir apparent, is now king. And the real test begins now. For as an old proverb says, the most difficult thing is not to obtain power, but to keep it. January 20, Bardella officially launches his presidential campaign. A carefully orchestrated event in his hometown of Sense. The choice of location is not insignificant. It's in these tough neighborhoods that he grew up, the son of Italian immigrants, who became the hope of the national right. I know the reality of immigration, not from books, but from my personal history, he declares in his opening speech. My family came to France to become French, not to transform France. This phrase goes viral. 1.5 million views on TikTok in 24 hours. International media seize upon it. Some see it as a masterpiece of political communication, others as a flagrant contradiction. How can the grandson of immigrants embody anti-immigration politics? It is precisely this contradiction that gives Bardella his strength. He diffuses accusations of xenophobia through his own biography. He makes acceptable a discourse that in the mouth of a Le Pen would immediately be suspect. Bardella is dangerous precisely because he is acceptable, notes a left-wing editorialist. He sells the same ideas as the traditional far right, but in modern, presentable packaging. The launch of his campaign propels Bardella to 28% in the polls. He leads all his potential rivals. The foreign press begins to seriously consider the possibility of a far-right president in France. Behind the scenes, Le Pen remains present. Sources close to the party reveal that she still validates the major strategic orientations. Bardella consults, listens, but increasingly decides alone. February 2026 marks the first real clash between the two figures. During a rally in Marseille, Bardella proposes a tax reform that significantly departs from the party's traditional line: less state, more economic freedom. That same evening, Louis Alliot, mayor of Perpignan and loyal to Le Pen, publicly criticizes this initiative. Some seem to forget that our movement defends above all the working classes. The message is clear: Le Pen does not approve of this shit. For 3 days, the media speculates about an internal war. Bardella keeps silent, then strikes a major blow. He convenes an exceptional meeting of the political bureau and obtains official approval for his proposal. It's a tour de force. He has managed to isolate Le Pen without directly confronting her. It's not a coup, confides a close associate of Bardella. It's a generational transition. Marine understands it, even if it's difficult for her. Bardella's real challenge is not so much Le Pen as broadening his electoral base. To win in 2027, he must appeal beyond the traditional RN base. His strategy is clear: retain the identity themes dear to historical voters, while developing an attractive economic program for the middle class. March 2026. An explosive investigation by Le Monde newspaper reveals growing tensions within the party. According to anonymous sources, Le Pen regrets having endorsed Bardella and fears he will betray the DNA of the movement. The denial is not long in coming. That same evening, Le Pen and Bardella appear together on a popular political show. Their complicity seems intact. They laugh, joke, finish each other's sentences. It's theater, says a political analyst. They are aware that any public division would be fatal. April, an unexpected event, disrupts the dynamic. Jean-Louis Dupont, a former associate of Jean-Marie Le Pen, publishes a memoir in which he claims that Marine Le Pen has always considered Bardella as a useful pawn rather than a successor. According to Dupont, Le Pen had confided in private. Jordan is perfect for attracting young voters, but he doesn't have the stuff of a president. He's too malleable, too seductive. The media bomb explodes. Le Pen formally denies it, calling these remarks pure invention. Bardella chooses not to comment, contenting himself with an enigmatic post on social media. The truth always emerges. This crisis reveals a new facet of Bardella, his ability to transform attacks into opportunity. Instead of retaliating, he adopts a posture of dignity that contrasts with the media agitation. Polls show that his popularity rating increases even further. May 2026, Bardella takes a crucial step in his emancipation. During a speech in Lyon, he unveils his campaign slogan, French Renewal. The word renewal is significant. It marks a break with Le Pen's rally. It is now his own brand that he imposes. The campaign logo is also revealing. The party's traditional flame is still present, but redesigned, modern. Symbolically, Bardella signifies that he respects the heritage, but transforms it. This subtle repositioning is accompanied by an innovative media strategy. Bardella favors new formats, long podcasts, TikTok lives, YouTube. He progressively abandoned the traditional media where Le Pen excelled. He creates his own playground, observes a media specialist, a space where he is the only master, far from Marine's shadow. June, a persistent rumor agitates Parisian political circles. Le Pen would consider supporting another candidate than Bardella for 2027. The name of Marion Maréchal, her niece, returns insistently. Bardella's response is immediate and surprised. He organizes a big party for Le Pen's birthday and pays her an emphatic tribute in front of the cameras. Without Marine, I would be nothing. She remains my absolute political reference. This gesture of apparent humility is in reality a masterstroke. It places Le Pen in an impossible position. Either she confirms her support for Bardella, or she appears disloyal. That same evening, in a laconic statement, Le Pen reaffirms her unwavering support for Bardella's candidacy. The last act of this power transfer takes place during the party's summer university. Traditionally, this is when the political line is set for the coming year. For the first time, Bardella makes all decisions without consulting Le Pen. He imposes his themes, his speakers, his organization. The message is clear. A new era begins. Bardella's closing speech is a masterpiece of political transition. He begins with a long tribute to Le Pen, then gradually unfolds his own vision. Without ever directly contradicting his mentor, he charts his own. We need a right that doesn't apologize for being right-wing, he declares to applause. A right that defends our borders, our identity, but also freedom and economic prosperity. Le Pen, seated in the front row, applauds politely. Her face betrays no emotion, but attentive observers notice that she leaves the room before the end of the standing ovation. In the weeks that follow, she becomes increasingly rare in the media. Officially, it's to leave all the light to Bardella. Unofficially, many see it as a strategic withdrawal. August, polls now place Bardella in a position to win in the second round against all potential opponents. His strategy of de-demonization has worked beyond expectations. In an exclusive interview, he even allows himself to evoke the post-Le Pen era. Marine accomplished historic work. She transformed our movement, made it credible. Now it's up to my generation to lead it to victory. The break is consummated, but with such elegance that even Le Pen loyalists cannot take offense. The heir apparent has become key. He has achieved the impossible, succeeding a charismatic figure without openly betraying her, while imposing his own brand. Political observers agree on one point. This transfer of power between Le Pen and Bardella will remain in political history textbooks as a model of successful transition, or as the greatest act of political illusionism of the 21st century. For behind the smiles and mutual tributes, a question remains: who is manipulating whom in this political chess game? Has the mentor really given way to the student? Or is it the student who has subtly ousted the mentor? The truth, as a close associate of Bardella, whispers, only the future will tell, and perhaps even Jordan and Marine don't know themselves.